back in the WPA days, the Depression, there were bandstands, fixed bandstands in different parks, so that the schedule was set up at the beginning of the season. And on Wednesday night you were in Maplewood Park, and Saturday night you were in Ontario Beach Park, Sunday night you were at Genesee Valley, and then other places in between, but those were fixed locations. The bandstand in Genesee Valley Park was made of wood in the shape of a gigantic shell, and the sound was beautiful. The others were made of cement, and in fact, they've had orchestras that performed in these various parks. Now, the last bandstand as such is the one in the Highland Bowl, and you know how that's built.
We're talking to John Cummings today, who is the conductor of the Rochester City Parks Band, right?
Correction.
Okay.
It is now called the Monroe County Park Band.
Okay.
Right.
How long have you been the conductor, John?
Since 1945.
1945.
1945.
That's a long time.
Long time.
How'd you get started?
I played in the band previous to that. I was a flute player.
Yeah?
We try to keep that a secret.
You played the flute in the Parks Band?
Oh, yes, yes. 1932 and 33,
Yeah.
and right through that period.
And what happened? How did you become the conductor?
Well, the leader became ill in 45, Mr. Dozenbach, Herman Dozenbach, who had had the band since probably 1900,
Yeah.
and his brother,
Yeah.
Theodore Dozenbach. And they picked on me, and I started, and I've been there ever since.
Well, how many years have you been a working musician?
I think the first performance for money probably would have been in 1919
Yeah.
for the Liberty Loan,
Yeah.
and I've been there ever since.
The Liberty Loan, what's that?
Well, they had drive to sell Liberty bonds, and they had parades and different festivals to encourage the purchase of bonds. And I think that would be about a right date. I have it someplace written down, but about 1919.
And you've been a working musician ever since then?
As it came along.
As it came along.
With other things.
Yeah, with other things.
With other things.
Like what?
Well, for 30 years I've been the secretary of the shrine, or the recorder of the shrine. And then I taught school. But so many musicians have done the same thing.
Yeah,
It's a pattern.
yeah, yeah. Taught music.
Taught music, played in the vaudeville theater,
Played the vaudeville theater.
played in the regular traveling company, the national companies.
Yeah.
Our theater here, I believe, has played every major musical comedy with the exception of Wildcat and Bells Are Ringing.
Yeah?
And the reason for that is because the stars didn't want to ride on the bus or something. But most every other show that you could mention played here. Some of them, the national companies originated here.
Yeah?
Like My Fair Lady.
Originated in the auditorium here?
They built the national company right in this auditorium. It took 3 weeks.
You book all the music for the auditorium theater, too,
I
right?
have. I've been a musical contractor for the auditorium theater.
So that when they need an orchestra, they come to you?
Yes, we have to get what they want, the instrumentation that they want, and the numbers of people. It's generally quite a large orchestra.
Yeah.
Depending on the, I think the Fair Lady was 48 people. The last musical that we had here was Superstar,
Yeah.
and it was sold out,
Yeah.
every performance,
Yeah.
and that carried about 30 musicians in the pit.
You got those.
Oh, yes.
Did you-
Except, no, I am the local conductor, but they carry a man. It would be impossible for anyone to read that type of entertainment on one rehearsal. And sometimes they carry 3 musicians or 4 musicians, and you have to try to adjust. And for instance, Barbra Streisand had,
Concert.
you know, she was in that one play that had the play that made her famous.
Funny Girl.
Funny Girl, good for you. That one tune, and that was People. That's become a standard.
Right.
Rain on My Parade, it's there. West Side Story, which is probably the greatest thing that Bernstein ever did, that has become a standard. the type of thing you have to reach for. Some of the musicals still hold. Gigi, Sound of Music, My Fair Lady, On a Clear Day, Applause.
Yeah, new one.
But you can't do The Student Prince, and you can't do The New Moon, and you can't do The Desert Song, you can't do those, The King and I has been reborn.
That's true.
So you have to watch.
What else is coming out that's new? I mean, what else?
I don't know. You watch, you try to see something. I don't know of anything on Broadway right now that we could use. Many of those musicals, the scores, people...
No Sondheim,
Company, Whiz.
Not popular enough.
If we hear folks whistling the tunes or singing the tunes, we're going to get it. We're going to get it.
Wow.
If we're lucky enough, we can pick something that they want to listen to. And that's the trick. If you want to call it a trick, it's a trick.
Sure.
You have to try to keep abreast. And the older musician, where rock is concerned, and disco, that's a foreign land, though.
Foreign land.
You got to get the young people.
Well, what do you think a musician today who's come up through the ranks has to face as far as being a working musician in today's market is concerned?
Well, there's a vast difference between the musician today and the musician of 40 years ago. Today, they're fabulous performers.
Yeah.
And they do everything,
Yeah.
especially with the doubles, the reed doubles, the brass doubles, the flugelhorn, and the trumpet. And it's an ongoing thing in the electronics. That's the biggest thing of everything. And we have to get into the coverage of the sound.
What do you mean by doubling? What do you mean?
Well, today, a reed player, a man who says, I'm a reed player, they look for him on flute, piccolo, oboe, clarinet, bass clarinet, bassoon.
Gotcha. Most keyboard men play...
They will play organ, they play electric piano, they play regular piano.
Yeah.
No, the musician today is an accomplished gentleman.
Yeah.
His only problem is he has to earn a living.
Yeah. That's still kind of tough for a musician.
That's right. And he'll have to do many things.
Yeah.
And once he's decided, he will go ahead.
I see. You mean once
And you find them.
to broaden himself?
Yes, they have to do.
What do you think of disco?
Well, it's a reoccurring excellent beat. And again, the younger percussionist or the guitar player, he has a little something that you just don't acquire with study.
Yeah.
And if you listen to enough of them, you can almost identify who it is that's doing that.
Yeah.
The young people will tell you who's doing it. They'll tell you his name. When you find young people 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old that know the melodies and the lyrics and the names of all the groups, it makes you think, now there's something there. And I experienced it with my own grandchildren.
Yeah.
I know the tunes that they like, the songs, and the thing that astounds me is they know all the words. Some of the performers they know.
Why is that?
And this is 7 and 8 years of age. And then I come back to that Watkins Glen concert, or whatever it was. I don't know the number of people, but it was probably the biggest thing. And we were just coming home from Seneca Lake when we saw the overflow crowd after it was over. It was unbelievable. Now, what draws those people? It's something they want to hear.
Music. Their music.
Yes. If there are children, young people, teenagers, we have a few tunes that we try to adapt to Star. There's a Lennon and McCartney arrangement. Incidentally, that music right now is being requested again.
Yeah.
They're coming and asking for those tunes.
The early Beatles songs?
The early Beatles, they ask for now.
That's my era.
That's it. The Hey Jude.
Oh, yeah?
And they want those tunes now.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the older people tolerate it.
Tolerate it. What do you find happening with when you do a tune like that? Do you arrange it so that it's sort of in the style that the Parks band has always sort of had?
No, they are arranged for, and that's another point. Today, most of the arrangements are made for inside.
Yeah.
You see, we're an outside group,
Aha.
and the arrangement isn't, most of the arrangements are not adaptable for outside, so adjustments have to be made. There has to be some doubling,
Yeah.
and the cues have to be played. And you have to try to adjust.
What have you had to deal with as far as playing in all these different locations all over the city?
Well, primarily the thing is you fight the weather.
Yeah.
And we have played in zero, with zero temperature. And we have played, I think, in temperatures up as far as 93, and I remember the locations. If the weather is good, we're lucky. Of course, we have some wind, and as you know, in the business that you're in, we have only a PA system. In fact, I had to learn the difference between a public address system and a sound system, which I knew nothing about. So we have just a public address system, and we have to fight Mother Nature.
What has the band had to deal with as far as that's concerned? I mean, any real bloopers as far as that's concerned?
We've never had an unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
Never had an unfortunate thing. Luckily, no accidents. But we've been rained on, and we've been in the hail, and we've been in the snow.
It's like the mailman.
Well, we opened a skating rink at Genesee Valley Park, and we had a solo clarinet player, been with us for years, that teaches at the school here. His name is Tony Bruno, and I swear he almost froze to death. But it had to be done. It was just, they were going to dedicate that skating rink. One time, they played for the opening of the bridge from to Canada at the Thousand Islands. They did that, but it's terribly expensive.
And what year was that?
I can't give you the year, but they just celebrated, I think, the 50th anniversary this year.
Bridge.
I think, of the bridge.
Okay, well that tells us a lot. How do you think people are responding now to the Parks Band in respect to what they used to respond?
Of course, the location is important.
Yeah.
And we perform throughout the county.
Yeah.
And these are preset dates, and they may be in conjunction with the colonial days, like in Pittsford. And then, of course, Andy Wolf, who has a newspaper out there, publicizes. And that is generally our opening date around maybe May 23rd, 24th. And that also coincides a little bit with the Lilac Festival. And of course, the lilacs are really big. And we make no pretense of drawing people to the lilacs, because if you will drive through Highland Park any morning, which I do, I'm coming over here to work, and I drive through Highland Park, the people are walking through the park at 9 o'clock in the morning. The lilacs are just a natural draw. So what we do is, for the ceremonies, we probably perform 3 times for the Lilac Festival. And then the rest of the assignments are in the county, or wherever there's some special event that we could play. We could perform 50 times easily, because everybody wants to have something. But we are limited this year to 25 performances.
Now we'd like to do a couple of circus tunes. One is called Bravura, that means short, by double, and the other called Subila Solis, Over the Waves. Now these are both marches that you'd fit into most any high-flying circus act. Play a little medley of them for you now.